Welcome, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me and see me all right. Where are we on TikTok? We moving? Greetings, Manny. All right, so I can see motion here on Facebook, Ivy Angela Rivera, Ivy League Psychic Academy, and that would also be YouTube at AskIvy. Manny, you say you can hear and see me. Thank you so much. Perfect. How about TikTok? How are we on there? TikTok, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me all right. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciated. And same thing on Instagram. Let me know if you can hear and see me all right before I go ahead and get started. Instagram is always a little bit hit or miss. Same thing here with TikTok. I'm never 100% positive. Oh my goodness, is it Mama? Ezzy is right by my feet. It's raining. She's bored. She would rather be outside, but that can't really happen tonight. So I guess she's going to be under my feet. So yeah, we are going to be posting on, back to what I was saying, TikTok and Instagram. Diana, my beautiful producer, really has no choice but to post over and over and over again in the comment section the directions for dropping your donation and your question, because we're not allowed to pin it really, and we're not allowed to put it up in the description. Esmeralda Marie, everyone. So if you don't like that, you can switch over to YouTube at AskIvy, and that's always the best way to support me anyhow. Or you can go onto one of the Facebook channels, Ivy Angela Rivera or Ivy League Psychic Academy, and you could do everything under one roof. You can make your payment, you can see the directions, you'll see your name pop up on the screen, meaning your question is next. All the things. All right. Looks like everything is working. Thank you so much, Diana. So before we go ahead and get into this today, I do want to give a quick, God bless you, Ezzy. Oh my God. Quick shout out to my YouTube members. But first, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, this is my Ask Ivy show where you could drop a question of any kind and I deliver out to you psychic messages from spirit, whatever is required to answer your question. Limit 2 per viewer. So go ahead, drop your donation, drop your question. Don't make Diana chase you down if your payment name is completely different than your social media name. Okay, make clear to her who is who. So thank you so much to my YouTube members, Melissa S., Denise Bennett, Jayla Hilly, Edgar Velardes, Tony Ramos, Jennifer Cole, Vanessa, Christine Watts, Miami Heat 305-ish, Andrea M., Angie Johnson, Jill Marie, Lucy Marsh, CJG, Me Love 716, Yolanda Fisher, Shauna Dempsey, Demetris, Language Through Connection, Deanna Marie, Murray D, Chicken Mama, and Tristan Marion. If I forgot anyone, I apologize. I ran out of time to update my list today, but I think, hopefully, anyways, I got to everyone. Couple quick announcements while we let everyone drop their questions. Spirits with Spirits Psychic Fair at the hauntingly beautiful Margin Manor Winery is going to be this Sunday, October. You can come on up. October 26th from 1 to 4 p.m. You can pre-book with your reader now. So this is myself and readers, certified readers from my Ivy League Psychic Academy out again at the winery, putting on the Ivy League Psychic Fair. And you can go onto my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com to pre-book with your reader. I think I have one slot left if you want to pre-book with me. Walk-ins are also welcome. Let's move on. What else do we have going on? 2 seats left, ballpark, for my Victorian Tea and Gallery show. This is November 23rd, also at the beautiful Margin Manor Winery. So I do a 1-hour gallery show where I deliver out messages to the audience, and you guys have a 4-course meal. You're doing wine tasting, lovely Victorian tea, and then afterward, I offer private readings. You can pre-book your private reading now, but this is a ticketed event, so make sure you get your tickets to the show as well. And that's also up on my website. Everything I'm talking about is, you could go right to the events page at ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. Also coming up, Fall Day Market at the Richardson Olmsted campus, which is the old psych ward in Buffalo. We are out on the campus area, over 70 vendors. Everyone has their own little hut, and they got a tiny house for the Ivy League Psychic Academy. So I will be in the Psychic Readings tiny house right next to the Buffalo Collective building. You can come on down. I will be there this Saturday, the 25th. Yeah, and that goes 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pre-booking is also open for that, up to 3 slots per person. You could pre-book with me for any of these events. What else do we have coming up? Tons of stuff going on right now, you guys, because it's my peak season. It's my in-season. Spooky season, my favorite season. Haunted sleepover experiences here at the 1882 Victorian Funeral Home. So when you guys are like, where is she filming from? You're always asking my producers, what is that place? There would have been a coffin behind me over here. There would have been a coffin over there in the other room. This was a funeral home for over 55 years. We did make the Haunted History Trail of New York State and the Historical Trail of Chautauqua County. So you could check it out there. You could book a haunted sleepover, up to 25 of your friends. Super fun. Ghost hunts, historical tours, all the things. So check it out. This was originally the Francis Rhodes house. And we have coming up the just gonna make a mental note to myself. You can book your seasonal party now. I mean, obviously Halloween is fully booked up, but whether it be with me or one of the readers from my Ivy League Psychic Academy or an entire psychic fair, you're going to want to get your holiday party booked now. We do corporate, we do smaller businesses, we do family parties, private events, public, all the things. So check it out up on the website. My Spirits of Allentown walking tour with Explore Buffalo is sold out. I warned you guys, this happens every time we announce it. It's sold out in, I think, less than 24 hours. So I work with Explore Buffalo. They have a docent covering the historical aspects of the downtown Allentown area. Super unique, very haunted, a lot of wild stories. It's something you just really can't overlook when you drive through the space. And if you've been interested in checking out one of these tours, we usually offer, 2 or 3 per season. But this year we're a little bit short on hands. So the docent with Explore Buffalo will be covering the history, and I cover the paranormal aspect of Allentown, and we're hoping next year to be able to add on a few more dates. But yep, it was announced. Like I said, you got to grab those tickets, and it immediately sold out. My psychic mediumship course, you guys, this is huge. You guys have been asking, are you going to run another raffle? Are you doing a one of the programs where, what's the word I'm looking for? I used to run these programs where you guys could earn it, like a scholarship type of program. I can't think of the word. And I wasn't able to do any of that in 2025. But in 2026, I am running one psychic mediumship course. It starts in February. Registration is now open, and I am running a raffle. So $2,800 value. You can buy your tickets and win a free seat to the psychic mediumship course. So get your tickets now. And again, that's all up on my website, ivyriverapsychicmedium.com. I think that's everything. Is that pretty much everything? Okay, so before we get into this today, I do want to also just explain to you guys that if you don't want to ask your question publicly and you don't feel like you need a whole reading with me, you can just drop an email reading, okay? And again, that's right on my website, so super simple. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Looks like everyone is ready to go. So welcome everyone, I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Arawak, and this is my Ask Ivy show where you drop a $10 donation, ask a question of any kind. Spirit and I will give you the answer. So this is love, health, wealth, travel, paranormal, spiritual. You know, if you're wondering if someone's cheating, if you're wondering which house you should buy, I mean, literally anything goes. Okay, so nothing is out of bounds. Just please do, for the sake of my producer, type your question out clearly, and for my sake and the sake of efficiency and for your neighbor, put the first name of whoever it is that you're referring to, living or deceased. If you want to connect with a deceased pet, a deceased loved one, I do need the first name of whoever it is, living or deceased, that you're referring to. Or if you're comparing something like 2 jobs or 2 home addresses, you know, at least put the numbers in there. It speeds up the process for me, and it helps me get on to your neighbor faster and give you a more in-depth reading with the limited time that we have here. Let's go ahead and I think get into this. Okay. Also, if you guys could please, before we get started, give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment of any kind. It helps me out in the algorithm. Please let me know also in the comment section where you're tuning in from. And if you really want to support me, go over to my YouTube channel here at Ask Ivy and hit that subscribe button. It's also limit 2 questions per viewer. Okay, and I do work internationally, mostly by phone. If you want to see me in person, you can go to my events page, but you can book anywhere in the world, anytime, video download, phone reading, what have you, at Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. First one up is Eric. Eric wants to know, on the 27th, I'm going to school. Will it be good for me? Okay. Well, I mean, I think it depends on what you're going for here. And you didn't say, but I think that as long as you are going for anything where you're able to use a combination of your mind and your hands. So we have 2 different things really going on with you. We have the engineer's mind. The engineer's mind is essentially understanding how systems fit together. This could be technological, mechanical, bio. This could be groups of people. I don't really think you're too interested in working with the groups of people aspect. You know, it feels more traditional. I also, you know, see within your life contract, meaning what you signed on to before you came to Earth, that you came here to sort of combine that with some creation. So there needs to be busyness. You need to be able to use your hands. You need to be able to use your mind. You need to be inventive. You need to be kind of innovative. I think as long as you are going for, within your education, something where you're building up the possibility of you having the freedom to do that on a daily basis, you're going to be happy with it. Now, there is some leadership that comes up with all of this. And granted, you can't really get a degree in leadership. I mean, you can't, it's not a book smart thing. It's a street smart thing. It's a communicative thing. It's a higher vibrational intelligence in regards to intuition and emotion, communicative skills, right? So you may be working for the next 2 years or so on your communication skills to also connect with other people, meet the needs of people, where you have what, you know, what you're offering is what they need, but in order to get them to participate in it or to receive it, you know, that's going to take some communication skills. So this will also potentially, it's up to your free will, but potentially lead to greater leadership positions for you as well. So yes, I feel positive about this. Moving on. Thank you for your question, Eric. Moving on to Edgar. Edgar says, will my friendship with Jennifer continue to deepen in 2026? I recently let her know about my chronic pain. Interesting. We both have chronic pain. Okay. I feel like this friendship and this relationship will continue to deepen as long as you make time for it, I'm hearing. And the first thing I was seeing was being in two different places. So it's very possible you end up working, maybe not all the time, but some of the time in a different atmosphere, one of you. So, and I thought it was you, but we'll take it how it resonates. I think that is going to require a little bit more effort, so when you're not around each other as much as you were, you have to, when you are near each other, sort of elongate those conversations. You have to make a deliberate attempt, to go a little deeper with the conversation. So it's not all silly, light and airy, it has a little depth. It has a little intimacy to it. It's more of an effort to really get to know the person instead of just like passing time. We all know how to do this, but it can feel a little bit forced when you're doing it because you're on a time crunch. So I think working around that, I do feel like a little bit of a closed throat chakra going on here though. So you could also feel like you're tiptoeing around her a bit in 2026. And she's holding back a bit. She's kind of like not sharing as much. And so, you may feel like you're expressing and you're doing quickly because we're limited on time, and she's doing the opposite. And so what do you do with that? Again, I think the relationship can deepen, but I do think we're going to have to tread lightly around those areas, because you can't in any social situation get out of your lane or overreach. You have to just allow it to flow, and we'll see how it goes, especially on her end. All right. Thank you, Edgar. Maraid D is next. Hi, Ivy. I'm not happy at my job with the suicide hotline anymore. I'm starting to feel burnout and annoyed, but I'm unsure where my future career path goes. What do I do next for my career? Okay. Well, I'm getting two different things here. I saw you in an ER. I saw you in an ambulance, and I saw you, it almost feels like an EMT. But there's a lot of communication going on here. So I'm a little confused about what the title may be. I don't want to color this, and I'm sure you know better than I do anyways. It's, almost like a position or two separate positions that you may want to look into, where you are dealing with people in crises. You are dealing with people maybe even after a suicide attempt or in some mental breakdown capacity, even maybe drug use or hallucinating, their meds aren't working, they're off their meds. And we're going to see an increase with this, especially here in the States, as like medical coverage is cut. We're going to have more people going through. It's going to be good times. So, you're ready. You're here. You came here for the revolution, this cush sort of indoor behind the phone position that is super stressful, no doubt about it, but it is a little more reserved in your approach, is over. It may be over for you, and you've reached this endpoint, not because you weren't supposed to be there, but because we're about to see an increase in the madness on the streets, and you have to put boots on the ground. Now, of course, you don't have to, and it's up to your free will. But when I start seeing things like the ER, EMT work, ambulance, talking with people in a state of crisis, evaluating, are they supposed to be on meds? But they don't know how to speak for themselves, or they don't know when they took their meds last, or they don't know how they got to this place. You're helping them. It's like you're an advocate, but you're a counselor. I don't know how to describe it. Again, I don't know what the title. Somebody let me know in the comments. What is this position? What is this? Anyways, there's that. And then there's also, I see you doing more readings, more healing, more energy work, more talk on the chakras, more talk on Reiki, more talk on alternative healing, talk on things, maybe even like, block removal for people. So you're helping people on one hand through an energetic, spiritual, so to speak, aspect, helping them to get back in touch with their roots so that they don't maybe end up on the street. And then you've also got your, what almost feels like a little bit more of your day job, where you are dealing with them, boots on the ground, in that capacity. It's just a suggestion, but it's definitely in alignment with your life contract. Anna, so thank you, Mairead, for your question. Anna is up next. Anna says, what is the best guidance you have for me to welcome a quality man into my life? Keep your expectations realistic. First things first, okay? So we have not had a generation of men yet born outside of the patriarchy. So every man on earth is trained up not to see you as a person, to center themselves and to extract from you. So that's the first thing. Okay. Which means when we're looking for love with a man, we really need to focus on self-love first. So if you haven't mastered self-love, it's going to start there, because dealing with a man is almost like a protection. It's a constant, never-ending act of protecting yourself, because they have been trained from birth to be predatory with you, to extract from you. So nail that first. Once you've nailed that, okay, and you're realistic and you're okay with that, and you're still attracted to them, okay, then you have told the universe that you are ready to take that on, and that you're not going to tolerate any of the low-level behavior, that they will most likely be putting, onto you. So then we end up with a very small pool. And that's another point where you need to be realistic. So you're working with a small pool of people, because these are the men who have started to deconstruct from the patriarchy, and, they are understanding what's required, that a woman is a real human being, and they come and they want to give something to you. Then it's, let's see if they can maintain that, So new research shows that straight women need to watch with men that their first mask falls off at 6 months, a year and a half, the second one, and the third one at 3 years. So take it slow. Okay, so you're waiting a really long time to make sure they are going to be consistent, that they're not putting on some type of a performance that they've been trained from birth to do. Once they can prove that to you, and it's actually uplifting, your life, then maybe you are open to something more committed, even longer term. I think that it's knowing realistically what is available out there, knowing realistically how to take care of yourself first and foremost, and maintain those healthy boundaries, is what is allowing for someone of a higher vibration, small dating pool or not, it is allowing someone of a higher vibration to come toward you. And if you start to feel like it's too much work or it's too much labor, and you're like, nah, you know what? Never mind. I don't really need this. This is too much. You also need to respect that. If you're done looking for that or wanting that anymore, know that you will grow in this process. And sometimes growth is deciding you're not interested in something like a traditional relationship with a man anymore, so just be open. Don't ever say to the universe, I must have the love of my life. I want them to come in now, and it's got to look a certain way, or I'm not bothering at all. No. With any human being we're dealing with in any capacity, we want to honor what the contract is between those two people. We want to honor the nature of the relationship, and we want to roll the good in with the bad. Okay. It's not as black and white. Yeah. It's the best thing you could do. Anna, thank you for your question. We have another one coming in here from a CJG. CJG says, do you see any time frame when my son's father, GH, becomes more active in my son's life. My son has been having a bit of anger issues lately since the divorce. So I'm hearing 8 years. That is probably, and maybe I'm wrong. No, I'm probably not wrong as much as this person has free will and they could do it sooner. They could do it all tomorrow, for all I know. Maybe something happens and this person gets hit with the reality check and they change. Maybe. But as of today, the highest likelihood is that it's going to be about 8 years before GH realizes the value of being a dependable parent, being an involved parent, taking interest in your son. There's just no interest in your son. And I don't have to tell you, I mean, you're there every day, but like, it's like everything in GH's life is for GH. How does it stroke my ego? How does it build me up? How does it entertain me? How is it a dopamine hit? Is it not a dopamine hit? Then it doesn't belong here. What's next? What's next? I'm not going to finish this. I'm not going to finish that. But anyways, what's next? It just goes on and on and on. And in all reality, when you look at someone like this who has pattern behavior of this, do you really want that person spending more time with your child? No, of course you don't. So that's probably why you posed it this way, where you're like, when will they change? Waiting on this individual to change is not the best route to take for your mental well-being, for your emotional state, especially when we all as parents want to desperately fix things for our kids. And you feel a greater responsibility to do that when you are feeling like you chose a poor partner. So eliminate guilt, eliminate shame. You didn't know it was going to go this way. He does need to take responsibility. He does need to hold himself accountable. You didn't expect to get 2 kids out of this deal. So the bottom line is that he will likely not change in time for it to matter. I'm not going to sugarcoat. And I do think that the best thing you could do for the next 3 years in dealing with your son is to help him process regulation and all of these emotions, especially the righteous anger, in a healthier way. So like identifying how I'm feeling, where is that coming from? How could it affect my actions? I'm seeing a lot of Mr. Rogers here. Mr. Rogers would talk about like, in that moment of anger, I can make a choice. I can be a lady. I could be a man. I'm not really always a kid. Something like that. So I think maybe giving him the tools, and they're probably going to have to come from outside of you. So maybe like a therapist, outside source. Either way, he'll be fine. And thank you so much for your question, CJG. We have another one coming in here from an Ayana. Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everyone. She's covered in spider webs. I don't know where she just was. Go on. Ayana says, for what will occur regarding the custody of my baby? Okay, the custody of the baby. What will occur? I think this is going to look like a split situation. So this is as of today, okay? But as of today, this looks like a situation where they're coming in and taking time to be with the child on a far less regular basis than what you have in regards to custody. So this is possibly a weekend situation or an every other weekend situation, but I'm hearing 3 days, which is not the weekend. So I'm not sure what goes on with that. This could be, I want to say three days, possibly also out of the week. I feel like this is up in the air right now. It's debatable on how exactly this is going to go. I like to say there are too many hands in the pot between lawyers and judges and parents, and it's a lot of free will. But what I don't see is that you at any point don't have the majority of custody. Okay. So as this plays out, I think it's just important for you to have an understanding about what you really want and understand that what's going to be best in this situation is for you to be the main parent the majority of the time. That goes for financial purposes. This is the well-being of the child, especially, and also in time it'll be for like educational purposes. And so it quickly, and you may be like, well, that's a ways off, but it quickly comes in. Okay. So there will be a lot of reasons for that. Yeah, that's how that looks to me. Thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. I love you guys. Always my biggest supporters. If I could get everyone to please give this video a thumbs up right now, please do share it, hit subscribe. And if you are on YouTube at AskIvy, you want to be a member, hit the join button to see your 3 different tiers of membership options. CJG said, thank you. I appreciate the honesty. Yeah. I think we have to be realistic sometimes, because when we want something so badly for our kids, and we're dealing with essentially, a parent who doesn't care and doesn't even think about them that way, it's a harsh reality. And then you start to look at your own self and you're like, wow, there's a lot of guilt there. There's a lot of shame. It's almost a sense of like picking wrong. Did I cause this? You've got to work through all that or you're never going to see clearly. So it is a long journey. And I do feel like CJG, your message, I feel like, is a bit of a collective for the general audience tonight. So I feel like some other people are taking that message. Also, that happens a lot with my shows. So if you're listening to someone else get their answer and you're like, God, I feel like that was for me. It was. Okay. Collective messaging or piggybacking, very real thing. Manny is up next. So thank you, Ayana, for your question. Manny C says, hi, Ivy. What can you pick up about our cat, Rosie, who we picked up about 1 year ago? Okay. Rosie. I feel like Rosie has a lot of past life drama. I feel like I'm talking about in this life and also literal past lives. So Rosie is a very old soul. Rosie may sometimes act more like a dog, whether this is digging or rubbing my face on something or rolling around, not necessarily looking for belly scratches, but definitely looking like a dog, in some way. I think that she has been limited. She did have a past life, again, where she was a cat and had this food was very scarce. So there is a scavenger nature about her. Like, she reminds me of a trash panda, like a raccoon. Like, she gonna knock over the garbage? Will she steal food off your plate if you let her? I mean, even when she was well fed, now this may be decreasing because she's got food every day. There's plenty of supply, but she still carries that nature. And if you were to ever try to like put her on a diet or something, I mean, you would definitely see it come out with a vengeance. I also feel that she may have spent a significant amount of time on the streets, and that can make her very eager at times to just be outside, to be with nature, to be on concrete, to be with the elements, to be on a dirt road, to be around the birds and the sun and even the rain, like any kind of weather. At the same time, I feel like she loves the luxury of home. She, at this stage in her life, is preferring the safety, the security, okay, that you guys provide. And I think it's just really important to remember that she has a rich history, and that some of it definitely had to do with a lack of protection, a lack of resources, a lack of safety. So sweet. Thank you, Manny. Mackenzie is up next. Mackenzie M says, where is my relationship with Chandi headed now? Okay, Mackenzie and Chandi, where's the relationship headed? I feel like Chanti's like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing my own thing. I'm focused on this. I'm focused on that. This person carries a lot of masculine energy, looks like a male to me. Take it how it resonates, but it's like, I'm just very into my work or my creation or this project, a little bit of tunnel vision. And I am talking about to the future. So what this will look like going forward is, him doing whatever he needs to do for, I want to say, his happiness and sense of stability. He has a significant focus on increasing resources. Some people like that, some people don't. That's up to you to decide. But with that type of almost workaholic tendency, hyper focus on resources, it can make everything else, including humans, secondary. And I think that you have to be realistic that if you want someone like this, you have to be okay with being secondary to that. A lot of the time, that's what the future looks like. And you can't always have your cake and eat it too. If you're going to be with someone who's a freaking machine, you know what I mean? You're going to have a comfortable, luxurious lifestyle. Then there's not a lot of time to chit chat. There's not a lot of interest in, being there for you when you're going through something on a Tuesday. There's not a lot of reciprocity in the intimacy department on a, mental and emotional scale. So, you're going to have to balance that out. That's where I see it going, essentially. And I think that you're going to be figuring out more about what you really want as you go forward. But pretty much what this person has shown you is more of what you can expect. Okay. So an open book. This person's already shown you their personality, their patterns, their character. I would just expect more of that. Thank you, Mackenzie. Manny Corregidor says, thank you, Ivy. Interesting read on our cat. Yes, animals are always interesting. The things they don't tell us, but if you really look at them from the outside, it's like, yeah, I can see this. And telepathy is a great way for anyone tuning in who has an animal you want to get closer to. Telepathy is something that you probably did with animals as a kid, and it's brilliant to bring back with your pet. So start playing around with it. And then should you ever have to go on vacation or, you know what I mean, take him to the vet for meds or anything, you can use that telepathy throughout that process. Okay. To make it an easier transition. Let's move on to another one. April Scott says, what do you see happening between me and T? Okay. April and T. This person seems interested when they want more of your time or attention and then ghosty. So there is an energy here of deliberate intent to reel you in through attention. This may be a situation where in your past you had like abandonment issues or there was neglect or, you just didn't get everything. This could also just be, hoping because of Disney, to have a romantic partnership. And maybe this is the one. Maybe this person will give me the, connection I'm looking for. But when someone is responding to you or giving to you, spending time with you because they know that, it changes the whole thing. It makes it less authentic. It has a low-key manipulative feel to it. And it is something you also really want to be mindful of as you go forward. When they leave and pull back and get ghosty and then come back, what are the dynamics there? How and why did that happen? Specifically. So there's some monitoring going on with this relationship. I prefer to see when two people are coming together, open book energy, right? Love on the spectrum vibes. I want to see, neurospicy type of love and affection that is transparent and without agenda or hustle. I don't see that here. I have to be honest. There is a very egotistical energy coming from T that can make any relationship dynamic about tea and what I can get. It's like, what can I get? How can I feel good? Whether it be ego boosts, ego strokes, dopamine hits, getting their other needs met. And so you're going to want to be careful with that. Now, if you find that you're okay with the way that, back and forth goes with them, after a few months, and you're like, this is just fun, I'm okay with the way it is, maybe a situationship, or let's keep it light, then so be it. Enjoy. Thank you, April. We're going to move on to Edgar. Edgar says, does my great grandfather, Fernando Velardes, have any messages for me? When he comes in here, he does have a red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary. Take it how it resonates. I do feel him trying to come in through dreams, but more hearing him. I'm not seeing him, but I can hear him literally in his voice. So he likes to use clairaudience, but not when it's going to be your own inner dialogue. He likes to use clairaudience in what every medium really wants, right? Is to hear the spirit's actual voice come through. I would expect that more from 3 to 5:30 in the morning, the haunting hour, and as you're dozing off and waking up, when the veil is lifted. He is talking about communicating with you a little bit more over the next 2 weeks. As he says, like, the leaves are falling or the leaves are changing, as are you. So it's like, so are you. You may be turning away from family. You may be realizing things about family or your upbringing or your history, the roots there, where you're saying, I appreciate X, Y, and Z, but I also could have used more of A, B, and C. And I'm going to sort of alchemize that once and for all. He's helping you with that process. He's also giving you a teddy bear. I feel like he sees you like a little kid still. He gives you a teddy bear, and I'd be watching for bears, bear videos, hopefully not literal bears, outside coming at you, although they are the cutest thing on earth. So just be watching for bears. It's also a symbol of his protection over you and you going through a time of introspection. Okay. And there's no rush to it, but he loves you very much. This is a lady's also watching out over you, a lady here, maternal energy, keeping an eye on you, talking about like taking you ever see like, it's Puerto Rican, it's onions and honey. It's just gross. It's like, anything having to do with like vitamin C, anything having to do with like detoxing. I can't prescribe or diagnose, but she's trying to get you to take some spoonfuls of it. So if in the last couple of weeks you've been exposed to people who don't like wash their hands, are hacking without covering their mouths, are starting to pick up on flu germs and cold germs, like just protect your immune system a little bit more. Okay. She said you'll thank me for it later and your body will thank you for it. Being preventative instead of corrective is key. Thank you, Edgar. We are moving on to Jessica Murphy. Jessica says, is divorce what's best for me and my children at this time? Okay. And I don't have your partner's name, but let's take a look. Divorce for Jessica. Yeah. This should have been done 2 years ago. This could have been done 3 years ago. This could have been a situation where you never got involved with this person at all, in the best case scenario. But I do think that you were pushing it. I do think that you were overreaching. And I do think that they were moving it along in some aspects very quickly because they weren't able to maintain. It's almost like the mask that they were presenting. I'm pretending to be this great partner, and I'm also apologizing a lot, so when this person had to like apologize to you, and then they had to say, I will make it up to you, or I will change, they knew they weren't going to maintain that. They may present it, and they've certainly got the words, but there is no long-term action there. And so that's all there is. That's all she wrote, so had it been a slower process in the beginning, we wouldn't have even gotten to this point, because they did prove that to you long ago, that they were not going to put in effort. This is also not an individual who is interested in maintaining themselves. This isn't an individual who's interested in growth or therapy or, doing the grief, doing the shadow work. I mean, you name it. This individual wants the most for the least. And the only way to get that is to hustle other people. And that's what's happened here. So absolutely, it's what's best. It's what's best for you. I think just even entertaining it, you start to feel better and lighter, and like your health is returning. And I can't prescribe or diagnose. I do think that the kids need to see you do this, because if they were ever in this situation, I'm hearing predicament, you would want them to make this choice, not stay, right? So we're setting an example that way too. Thank you, Jessica. We have another one coming up here from a Jacob Marinick. Jacob Marinick, best path for my future with the Lake Village house. Where is the best place to live for my family? Okay, so the best path with the Lake Village house, and what's the best place to live for the family? I think that when we're looking at where to go, it seems like it may be something smaller. I think we may be looking at more land though. So we could be, and we have multiple options here, but you could be looking at, a smaller living space with more outdoor space, so that everyone can kind of enjoy more of like the nature, the porch, whatever it is, the patio, gardening, not, being able to reach your arm out and see, have a neighbor right there. I think that's important for a lot of reasons. I do think the other option is to get something that, has a more modern feel and is a bit larger, but may need some repairs. I'm a little confused, because I feel like I'm looking at a more modern house, but then it's like, it's got more repairs than my 1882 house I'm in. Now I know a lot of these modern houses are popped up and they don't do very well after 3 years. They're not built for the long haul. And that may be what we're looking at here. It doesn't make that decision wrong. It just is something that you may want to consider. So do you want something smaller and sturdier with more land, or do you want this bigger thing that's going to require, a lot of investment and maintenance here? There also seems to be talk from someone whose property is like in the family, or a gentleman in the family, someone you guys know, maybe offering you something, and you may be looking at it and really saying like, I don't really want this. And I think that everyone needs to be in agreement. That's the big thing. That's the big thing here, because even if there is a little disagreement on that, one wants it, one doesn't, whatever. I think that what's really most important in all aspects of your two questions here is that everyone is on the same page. Okay. So yeah, I feel positive about that. Definitely time for movement. CJG. So thank you, Jacob, for your question. CJG says, could you please tell me what's coming up with my career? Career for CJG. I see you talking more. I see more leadership. I see you dropping something. I don't know if you're dropping someone. It almost feels like I'm dropping this boss. I'm dropping this job. I'm dropping this client. You could be dropping someone who requires more energy than what you get paid, more attention than what you care to give. And so, going forward, and I want to say this is coming up even ballpark in about a month, I'm hearing one. Could it be a week? It could. I'm doubting it. Take it out resonates. But total stretch on this is about 4 months. Now, what seems to be happening over the upcoming 4 months is that I heard originally, she's given some opportunity to be in greater leadership and power. But I saw you taking it. I didn't see it being like offered as much as you knew you deserved it. You knew you wanted it. You knew you had to have it in order to like probably fill your bank account, but keep your sanity, and you knew it was the next step for you, is coming into more of this power and leadership. And it does involve communication. It also involves like information going down onto paper or into the computer, like dissemination of information. So there's that as well, which is just really another form of communication. So, yeah, that's what it looks like. So however you want to say it, you manifested it and claimed it, or it came to you. Take it however you want to, but this is karmic. You did earn it and you are in alignment with it. Now, I think you're using it as leverage, a stepping stone, a level up for approximately 2 years. And between the second and the third year, you're figuring out what's next, and not in a way where I'm wondering, like this question today, like what is next, but more like I already know and I'm going to implement it. I'm going to lay the foundation. I'm launching at that time. So between the second and the third year, it seems like you launch, if you use your free will wisely here, into something that feels even more independent contracting, consultant work, entrepreneurship, business ownership, self-employment. Okay. Good things. Fun. Thank you, CJG. I'm so excited to see so many people like leveling up in their careers in this way. Especially at a time like this where so many people are feeling down and out. I hope that brings hope. You know, it can happen. You just have to think outside the box, know your life contract, stay in your lane. Nothing ever moves when you're not using the gifts that you came to earth with and the potential that you actually have. You know, when you get in alignment, things flow. And that goes for everyone. Mackenzie M says, will Chandi reach out to see me anytime soon? Well, I mean, this is the same person I was reading for you earlier with your first question. Will they reach out? You know, it's like when I want something, when I want something. And he does a pretty good job of getting his needs met. His needs are also pretty like superficial here. Like, I need money, I need resources, I need to eat, you know, and then it's like, I need to sleep. There aren't a lot of needs for whether it be like fulfilling sexual desires or, you know, talking or like having a friend or like intimate sharing through communication. There's not a lot of like, I need to cuddle or I need physical touch from someone else. Like there isn't a lot there. You know, this person is like they have a tool for everything that they can go to. And, you know, kudos for them. But when you're hoping they're gonna want to connect, you know, like a person with depth looking for, you know, some type of a bond, it doesn't really happen. And so you could be waiting a while here. I think it's possible that because, not to sound creepy, but the reality is right now we're sending out messages to Chandi. Right now we're telepathically, energetically pulling this person toward you. Right now their ears are ringing, no doubt about it, you know? And so when you do that, when you talk about someone or we give a reading on someone or you're kind of astro traveling to someone, you're pulling and tugging at them energetically, telepathically through clear empathy, it increases the likelihood that they're going to reach out because they don't necessarily know why. They're just now curious, you know, about why you're popping in their head. So possibly as soon as 3 days, it's possible. Okay. Otherwise, I think you could be waiting a while longer, at least 2 weeks, but they have free will. That could change. Okay. Thank you, Mackenzie. CJG says, thank you. I'm so excited. That is exciting. Congratulations. We have another one coming in here from Maraid D. Maraid says, hi, Ivy. Is there anything I need to hear or know about my relationship with Ethan? Ethan, what does Maraid need to know? Wow, he seems frustrated. He seems nervous. He seems to be missing you. I don't know if you cut him off. Seems like you cut him off. Seems like you said something and then you cut him off. So you dumped. The symbol they're giving me is like a bucket of crawfish or a bucket of crabs. You dumped a bucket of crabs in his lap. And he's sitting there on the beach like watching the moon come up and the waves come at him and like still sitting there. And then the sun comes up and he's still sitting there and he's just sitting there. He's sitting there with all these crabs. how horrible. I hope he doesn't have crabs. God, be careful. You may regret this relationship. I think that, he's trying to figure something out with you, and he's getting this like crabs in a bucket energy. The idea of like crabs in a bucket is like, I'm having one thought and then the other thought's pulling it down. I'm having too many thoughts and none of them are getting me out of this situation. Like there are no solutions. I have too far to go. I think he's afraid he can't maintain you. I think he's afraid he can't keep you. I think he's afraid he can't hold your interest. I feel like a lot of the conversations you guys have, like 90% or more, may end on that note where it's like, I don't want to say you're taking on almost like a mother role or a teacher role or a therapist role, but you're definitely taking on a higher role in whatever capacity. And then it can make the friendship seem almost like it isn't a real friendship, and it can make the romantic connection more fiery, more dynamic. It can make it hotter in a lot of ways. And so it's like, this poor kid, I don't think he knows what to do with you. I really don't. I don't know if he's gonna figure it out. I don't know how long he's gonna sit there like this. Let me look at that real quick. It's like, what are the crabs supposed to teach him? The fact that you dumped all these crabs in his lap, like it's like you gave him the answer. He doesn't want to look at himself. He doesn't want to look at how he has this hard exterior and this mushy, soft inside. And he's, always like coming from a place of ego. It's like he doesn't want to be real in life. It's like he's not ready to be real. You gave him the answer, whether you intended to fully or not. And until he can sort of face himself and come at you with more authenticity, more depth, even more fragility, more human nature, I feel like you are walling him out a bit. Okay. So that's what I'm getting. All right. Thank you, Maraid. We have another one coming in here from a McKenna. I tried to break up with Chandi last week. We're only supposed to do 2. Okay. So it's 2 questions per viewer. I see that it's under a different name. But that name Chandi, okay, even though you're coming from another name, that name Chandi, I know this is all the same person. Okay. So we're going to have you hold that. Oh, is this just a comment? I'm sorry, Mackenzie. I'm such a bitch. Ignore me. So McKenna or Mackenzie says, I tried to break up with Chandi last week and he cried, told me he'd try to do better. There's no one else. Right before I was about to cord cut, he also said he's busy with work a lot. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Mackenzie. I see. Okay. So it's just a testimonial. In my defense, I do have people who will do that, and they'll come in from different phone numbers and different accounts and different names. And so when I think I see it, I automatically jump. The fact that he admitted to you that he is tied up with work a lot and all of this, I think that's great. I think he's identifying, but I also think if he is aware enough that he's doing that, this may be your opportunity to really point it out. He needs to get better balanced. He does. So, and, we can always have hope with people who are able to see themselves clearly. If you can see yourself, if you're being honest about who and what you are, there's hope that we can improve upon ourselves. It's the people who won't see themselves at all. It's like, we just have to throw in the towel. All right. Thank you, Mackenzie, for your feedback. Anyone else who got a reading and wants to drop a little testimonial here, let everyone know how it resonated with you. That's greatly appreciated, so that maybe other people will also get a reading. And we're going to move on to another one. This is from Jillian. Jillian says, do I have any messages from family on general guidance? Any messages coming in here from Jillian? You have a lady coming through who may have gained a significant amount of weight as she was getting older, getting closer to her passing. Now, she may have also lost a lot of this, but it seems to be packing on in like kind of maybe the belly area. I'm also seeing heavy legs, she said, and it may have even affected her ability to walk, her knee. Now, she's showing me the left leg. Take it out, resonates. The left knee, the left ankle and foot. I don't know if this is weight or if this is water weight. I don't know if this is a swelling as much as this is significant weight gain. There could have been a couple different things going on with her. Anyways, she watches over you in maternal way. When she's coming in here, she's talking about giving you some daisies, which are symbolic of fun, travel, adventure, good times. This is an opportunity for you in the next I would take this as 2 weeks, for you to receive some things. You know, it's always nice when somebody invites you somewhere. It's always nice when someone, you know, gets tickets and is like, come along this journey with me. It's always nice when you see something, you know, online and you're like, oh my God, I would totally love to do that little adventure. And you would go alone or with people if they're not, you know, whatever you have to do to get there, you know, you feel passion about it. I feel like you need more passion. I feel like you need more fun. I feel like you need more joy. I feel as though too, you're kind of feeding your inner child in a way over the next upcoming few months through spirituality. That is not something we typically see when people talk about spiritual development, when they talk about increasing their intuitive intelligence, or they talk about any type of like energy work. It's always work. It's always the grind. It's always, you know, getting the right crystals and getting the right certifications and reading the right books and, you know, doing it in such a way where it's like performative and people will approve of it, or, you know, and it's like, forget all that. I mean, just have fun with it, you know, like it's supposed to be fun. Talking to spirit, using your psychic ability. It's supposed to be something that, you know, excites you and creates wonder and brings you back to your childhood when you talked to your guides and you mistook them for your imaginary friends, you know, and you understood where you were in the universe and what the universe was all about, and how, you know, even significant you were in all of it. And so she's giving you a sunflower for that as well. And these are the things she wants you to focus on, especially if you've been needing more healing, if your energy has been low. It's like, this is the gateway to all of that. Okay. And yes, she'll be putting a lot of this on your path, but a lot of it you're also just sort of attracting to you. Also, watch for her in birds, like crazy birds, like birds coming toward the window or swooping down or going right in front of your car, acting nuts. And numbers, learn numerology. Okay. Starting with 5, which is significant change in all areas of your life simultaneously. Interesting. She also said, ring in your ears, 3 to 5:30 in the morning, ringing your ears. So she may be calling you up, so to speak. Maraid D said, thank you, Ivy. You're welcome, Maraid. Thank you, Jillian. And not the crabs. I hope not the crabs. Better you than me. I'm not trying to go there. There's one bullet I have dodged my whole life. Yeah, it'd be just my luck. Let's not feed crab energy tonight for everyone. Let's take a look and see if we have any more questions coming in, or are we at last call? Do we want to do a last call, Diana? So if you guys have not already done so, drop your $10 donation and your question. And I do just want to remind everyone that if you want to see a list of events, thank you so much for the hearts on TikTok. I appreciate you guys. If you want to see a list of events where I'll be throughout Western New York, you can go on my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com, on the events page, and pre-booking is open this weekend. I think I'm doing 3 different gigs this weekend. Yeah, I have the Allentown Explore Buffalo tour. And then that's Friday. And then Saturday, I will be at Falladay Market, the Richardson Olmsted campus, doing readings from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then Sunday, I'm out in Appleton, New York at Margin Manor Winery. So it's just go, go, go. And you guys may want to pre-book. A lot of that stuff is booking up, but you could also try your hand at a walk-in. Okay. And if you want to book a psychic fair, a party, or a private reading with me, I do work internationally. Most of what I do is over the phone. And you can also get a video reading or an email reading if you need that. And so you're going to use the self-booking system at Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com. Looks like we are at time. I will see you guys next week. I think next week's show is Dear Ivy, my free advice show. I could be wrong, but it's either that or it's the Unbound Sage, where I deliver out whatever is the most important message for you to hear right now. Either way, follow me, please. Drop a comment of any kind and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Spirit. Thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in. See you next time.